Welcome back. You're still watching. It's a beautiful day. This is Weather HQ. Now, more businesses are recognizing the importance of sustainability for the environment and the community. Now, a restaurant in Tagaytay stands out by using local and eco-friendly materials that reduce waste and conserve energy, benefiting both the planet and the local communities. Now, to discuss how the culinary industry can support sustainability, we are joined via Zoom by Chef Jayme Natividad of the Taal Vista Hotel. Magandang umaga, Chef. Thanks so much for joining us on It's a Beautiful Day.
Good morning.
All right, so Chef Jayme, let's start off first with this whole idea of the culinary world becoming more sustainable, especially when it comes to the environment that you're part of and trying to cater to the local community as well. Just when we talk about sustainability in the culinary world, what is that exactly?
Using sustainability for me in the culinary industry is using more local ingredients that are found within a certain area you are in.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you can't do that. We can get source out vegetables from Baguio and other places. But we have a community garden here in Taal Vista, and we have lettuces, arugula, and kale.
Mm-hmm.
And we have malunggay. We have other fruit-bearing trees that, when they are in season, we use them in our buffet or in some of our specials.
Well, one of the things that you're known for is the malunggay pancit verde, and you mentioned malunggay as part of it. All of this is sourced locally in your garden, I'm sure, at least a big chunk of it. When people think about where they source the ingredients, just how big of that is how big of a factor is that actually in terms of reducing the carbon footprint and making sure that it is sustainable in the longer run?
Um, since we have a malunggay tree in the property, or a few of them around the side of the ridge, it's very easy for us to ask our gardeners to get them.
Yeah.
But also, it's very accessible in our local markets.
Mm-hmm. When you take a look at how the conception of all of this, can you tell us a bit about the idea of the menu that you actually do create with sustainability in mind?
With sustainability, we try to use as much local items as we can, especially with the given area we have. We used to have a special. The first special we had, we used maliputo from Taal Lake,
Mm-hmm.
and then we used local vegetables from Benguet. We use singkamas to stuff it with carrots and all that, and we use basil from the garden as well. But for this particular dish, I've been using malunggay pesto for the longest time. It's nothing new for a lot of us. It's just another alternative for basil, which sometimes when it rains, it's really hard to source out
Yeah.
in our gardens. So it's very simple and easy, and we use cashews instead of pine nuts, again, to lessen the carbon footprint.
Mm-hmm.
For me, lessening the carbon footprint is when we get imported items. Sometimes it's difficult to get good items like vegetables or protein.
Yeah, because you do source a lot of it locally, I can only imagine that you have probably a deeper appreciation of the local dishes around your area in particular. Is that the case? Because the Taal area in general does have a rich culinary history, especially when it comes to heritage Filipino food.
Definitely. And there are a lot of farms in the area. So there's a lot to look forward to and actually utilize. It's just finding the right supplier.
Mhm. When you look at this whole concept of sustainability in the kitchen itself, apart from using the ingredients, have you changed the way that you do things, the way that you lead your team to make sure that there is this sort of shift to be more conscious about it?
I think it's just being more creative. If you look at it this way, we grew up. We didn't have during my time when I grew up.
Hmm.
Um, I was born in the 70s and early 80s. I was already cooking, and it was mostly local items we
Yeah.
were using. So it's just going back to that and just being more creative.
I really like that. By the way, you don't look like you were born in the 70s. Siguro mga late 80s, 90s, mga ganon. But let's take a look at the technology that you actually use in the Taal Vista, because there is something called the Orca biodigester, which
Yes,
converts food into a
I
safe
love this
liquid.
machine.
Yeah, so can you explain what this is? Because I read descriptions, but I'm not quite sure what it does.
It's a biodigester. We used to have a lot of uh, pre-service and post-service waste that really just goes to good garbage. Then since we've been very, very into sustainability the past few years, we eventually found this machine that helps us dispose of all this stuff, lessening the all the garbage that we send out to the landfills.
When you take a look at that, is that not normal in your experience in terms of kitchens having this type of technology, and maybe perhaps not thinking about the waste left behind in the kitchen after a day's work?
Pardon me, I'm sorry?
Is this not a typical thing, in your opinion, that should be adopted by other kitchens?
I think it should be adopted by those businesses that can afford the technology.
Yeah.
Or maybe one thing that the LGU can do is have something like this in an area where restaurants can bring. Because not a lot of companies can afford this because it's quite pricey. But that would be a good project for LGUs for the food service industry in their districts.
It feels like there has been investment in the technology, obviously, by your company. And is
Yes.
that felt all throughout the property and not just in some of the efforts done within the kitchen?
Yes, I believe so because our president, Ms. Elizabeth C., is a very staunch supporter of sustainability, and all this like Plate for the Planet and all that was because of WWF, who had helped us with the program. Even for our buffets, we have this buffet tags that just get what you need or get what you can eat so that there's not a lot of food waste. So those small things, I think, help out a lot,
You know,
making people conscious or the diners more conscious.
we're actually seeing some of the material from Taal and Taal Vista, and one of them is a Plate for the Planet, and
Yes.
different other obviously set menus with an advocacy. When you craft menus with the earth in mind, what do you want the consumer, your customers, what do you want them to leave with when it comes to their experience dining with this particular set menu?
So sometimes you'd like to impress them by them thinking, oh, you can do this with this ingredient, this particular ingredient. Oh, it's local and you made it taste this way.
And of course, looking ahead to the different plans that you have, obviously it's in the menu, it's in the processes, it's in the technology that you have in the kitchen, and there are best practices also done by Taal Vista Hotel in general. But are there any other steps that you feel you could take to advance this even further, especially where you are in the kitchen?
Well, I think we can do further menu planning also to help again reduce more or lessen the waste. Like when we have forecast our guests and everything, we try to gauge how much they're going to be consuming.
Yeah.
Help us lessen our production and thereby lessening the waste.
How do you manage keeping the quality high? Because some people think that, okay, it has to be green, it has to be eco-friendly. Some people have the notion or the idea na, okay, dahil green to, maybe it's less convenient. But is that the case for you guys? Do you find yourself sacrificing anything when it comes to quality, trying to serve this purpose?
Not really. There's a lot of good local produce out there. So it's just a matter of looking for it and not taking too much stocks in by scheduling them properly, arriving and just using them for a day or two, maybe 3 days maximum. And then that's when you request new items come in.
Is that the most difficult part of your job in particular, sourcing out the local produce that is one of
Sometimes,
quality?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, sometimes sourcing because some of these farmers are small scale, so sometimes um, the greens are sold out easily if you because there are a lot of people interested, or sometimes it's raining or the weather does not permit, and they just are not available.
Can you give us an idea of if someone's going to go to Taal Vista Hotel right now and wants to experience and taste really an eco-friendly experience, what will they expect, especially if they order a set menu like as we mentioned a while ago, the plate for the planet?
Well, for the plate of the planet for this summer season, that we have the pancit verde. It's a greener take on, meaning literally green, and more easier to prepare than the pancit palabok or pancit luglog, because I added to it the smoked fish or the tinapa. So
Yeah.
it has that taste. And when we had our tasting and we had our guests try it, they were pleasantly surprised that it was green, but it tasted something very familiar to them. That's why I think they liked it right away, and it was welcomed very well.
You know what? I know it's early in the morning, but you're already making us hungry. And Chef,
Oh,
really
do visit at some point.
100%. We'd love to be there as we're showing it right now. A bit of your creations there. Again, Chef, thank you so much for sharing all this with us. And of course, we hope to see you in person soon. Try out your dishes and experience
Yes.
all of the efforts that you're doing to try and balance out the environment and, of course, the quality of the hospitality. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
All right, Chef Jayme for us. And thank you so much once again.